What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another video on the channel. As you can tell from the title of this video, I will be disassembling my S15 SR20DET. This engine blew up, unfortunately. Cylinder number 3, the rod exited the block on both sides and the upper oil pan. So with that being said, let's get right into it. All right, so there's definitely a plan of attack. What I want to do is I want to remove everything external first. So, you know, motor mounts, the alternator bracket, the power steering pulley bracket, as well as the exhaust manifold and turbo. I also want to take off the thermostat housing and the oil filter relocation block. From there, I can start disassembling the engine. What I want to do first, I kind of want to take off the upper oil pan and the lower oil pan, only because I want to see into the cylinder. I want to see the carnage and just make peace with it at this point, you know what I mean? I just want to see, you know, meet my maker, see what's going on, and from there I can flip the engine around and then take the cams out, take the head off, see what the head looks like, and then yeah. So I'm actually kind of nervous and excited because I also don't know what I can salvage from this engine. More than likely it's nothing at all besides the cams on the inside, the VCT gear, my 5.0 Ignite trigger kit. That's pretty much it. Because I know people are going to say because it blew up you shouldn't use anything that's inside of it, and they're definitely not wrong. I'm more than likely going to have to go half over for the NA block, but I want to know if I can use the oil squirters. So the DET came with oil squirters that shot up oil underneath the pistons and through the piston cylinders. Through the cylinders, I'm sorry. And I want to know if the machine shop can drill and tap the block for those oil squirters. If they can, that is a big win. Also drill and tap the exhaust side of the block so I can just run an oil feed from there straight to the turbo rather than running an additional feed behind the block into an oil filter adapter to get oil pressure. So we're just gonna get into it. Alright, so the exhaust manifold is next to take off. I'm just going to use a little YouTube magic. This video is going to be shorter than the other video, but I just wanted to take this apart on camera with you guys, just so you could see the damage that happened to this. So just use a little YouTube magic. Well, YouTube magic couldn't save me from the BS. One nut got stripped. That is the only thing keeping this manifold on right now. Anyway, I'm gonna do something else because that just pissed me off. I'm gonna flip this engine upside down. I'm gonna take off the upper oil pan and the lower oil pan, and it should be at TDC so I could whiz the crank pulley off. And once the upper and lower oil pan are off, we're gonna see what the real damage is. Alright, so continuing from where we left off, I couldn't get the oil pans off, the lower nor the upper. I just got the lower oil pan off and it looks bad. So lower oil pan is off and you can see nothing but metal. I don't know why my camera's having a hard time focusing on shit today. Nothing but metal. Wow. That's insane. I've never seen any... I've never seen an engine blow up, period, but I've only seen it in videos. I've never seen it in person, let alone my own. But this is very destructive. So what I'm gonna do is, I already showed you guys on the NA engine. This comes off, then there's a few more bolts for the up oil pan to come off. And then once that's off, then I'll be able to take up the pickup and then the other baffle. But I gotta remove this baffle first. So before we continue, I want to show you how clean this engine is. Look at that. Maybe not the baffle because I guess I didn't clean it that much, but look at the inside of it. It looks brand new, as if it was the outside. That's how you know I did what I needed to do by bringing it to the machine shop. I'm just finding so much broken pieces. This piece itself has numbers on it. I don't know what that's for. But yeah, overall this engine is very clean. Still sucks that it happened. Let's continue. Upper oil pan is off. Obviously I wasn't expecting to use anything, but what I keep finding is like pieces of the actual wrist pin. This is an example. I don't know if it'll focus on. It's the wrist pin, and then the clip for the wrist pin was out. So no idea. Maybe it failed, or whatever. But yeah. Oh, I need to get a light, and I can show you that the piston is still in this cylinder. That's the piston right there, which is crazy. It looks like the wrist pin maybe broke from the bottom of the piston. But yeah, that's insane. I've never seen anything happen like that before. Everything else looks good. The rods, every other cylinder is just 3. The girdle even cracked. You see, like from the back all the way to the front, girdle's cracked. So even the girdle is not savable. Maybe the main caps are savable, just in case like I have another engine that I need the main caps for. Like a lot of the hardware in this engine I'm gonna keep because hardware is useful. But wow, that's crazy. Alright, so the next step would be to get the exhaust manifold off, but I can't because the nut that's in the worst position is the one that's stripped. There's no way I can cut it off. I don't have anything to cut it off, so I'm just not gonna worry about it. What I'm gonna take off is the water pump, VCT solenoid. I'm gonna do everything I need to do in lining up the cam caps with the correct rockers and the shims. Make sure all of that is organized properly. Prior to that, I'm gonna take off the time and chain tensioner. Forgot about that aspect. And yeah, I can't get this nut off, so I'm just not gonna worry about it right now. I'm gonna do what I can do and worry about what I can't do later. The cams have to be removed very specifically, so you have to loosen the cam caps from the inside going out. You have to do this because even though the cams spin very fast, they're very brittle, so they can break easily. If you don't know, now you know. We're just gonna speed this up by using YouTube magic. All right, so everything is now out of the head. Cams, rockers, shims, oil squirters, or whatever you want to call them, lifters. Everything is out of the head. Everything is labeled properly. All right, so I tried. I can't get this exhaust manifold nut off. There's nothing I could do. Just won't come off. It's stripped beyond whatever I can actually do. I want to cut it out, but there's nothing I can use to cut it out because it's in such a tight spot. So I'm just gonna take the head off with the manifold on and just call it a day.
A few moments later.
All right, head is off the block. Now let's check this out. See that there? That means the valves were touching. But this piston, see how that can go down? I could definitely just pop that out. Like flip it over, pop that one out. The rest of the pistons, they don't look messed up. Everything looks fine. It's just this one, cylinder 3. Now we go over to the head. 1, 2, 3. You can see, hopefully you can catch this on camera. See that? This is bent. You can see the hit marks from it touching the piston. The same with over here. It's slight, but you can see it. And these are flush. So the exhaust valves, both of them for cylinder 3 are bent because the piston came in contact with it. It would make sense considering everything that happened. So it doesn't look like this head is completely totaled, but I'd only know if I took it to the machine shop. But I'm not going to be using this head going forward. I'm just going to be using the NA head because this head has gone through a lot and I don't want any like metal shavings or anything to get inside the engine. What I am going to do is I'm going to take the valve springs out of this head and put it in the NA head. That way everything else would be fine. Like as long as the valve seats and the valves are good on the other head, which they are, I could just take the springs out of this one, put it in that one, and then that's it. As far as the block, obviously we all know the block is totaled, but what I am thinking about is I'm gonna have to overbore the NA head because Tom said there was detonation. He said that he would go to 87 mil pistons. So I'm gonna have to buy new pistons. The pistons are the most expensive part. Like I think I've seen 87 mil pistons for like almost $1,000. So yeah, and also these pistons were 9-to-1 compression, so slightly higher than stock. Also, the rods seem to be fine for 1, 2, and 4. So I think I might just bring the rods to the machine shop, have them reuse those rods, and I could buy a single rod on its own. because buying rods is like another $600. I could save money there. That's pretty much it. Like everything else from this engine is pretty much toast. Like this whole timing chain and stuff like that, I wouldn't even think to use it. Alright, here is the piston. Look at that for a better look. It's like chewed up. This is crazy, man. The carnage. Yeah. I'm debating if I want to take the rest of the engine apart. Maybe I should, right? This is half of the girdle. Not even half. This is like a quarter. Quarter of the girdle. I'll take out the other side of the girdle now. Alright, the camera died while I was removing a lot of stuff. But ultimately, this is going to be the last view of what goes on in this engine. So you can see this is cylinder number 3, and that is the actual crank where the bearing sits, the rod bearing. That is toast, completely toast. But then if you look at 2, it is gleaming. And that's exactly how the rest of them look. They look very shiny, run my nail across, no grooves, smooth. So far, all the caps look fine, except, well, all the bearings look fine except the bearing in cylinder 1, or the first bearing. And I'm gonna pop that out real quick just so you can see. I was just thinking about it too, since I actually have, you see, look at that. Let's see if it'll focus. Is that shiny in the middle? That's not good. And then we're gonna compare that to number 2, which is nothing. So anyway, I'm debating on keeping these main caps because I actually have another S13 block. Not the one that I bought over there. Actually, I was thinking about keeping these main caps because I have another block. Debating. I have another block, and that block did not have main caps, nor did it have a girdle. Obviously, I can't use that girdle, but I can use these main caps for that block. Alright, so that will conclude this video. There was a ton of carnage, there was a lot of damage. I would say 95% of the stuff inside the engine is not usable. What is usable, I'll go over it again. Main studs, head studs, valve springs. Those I know 100% will be used again. As far as anything else, maybe the rods I could possibly get away with because there was no damage to the rods, no damage to the rod bearings for cylinders 1, 2, and 4. But 3 is completely toast. So I would just have to buy another manly rod and throw that in the new engine. I'd still have to remove the crank pulley and the motor mount bracket, but that I could do off camera. I still got to figure out how to get that nut off the head. And other than that, everything else is pretty much toast. So I would like to thank you guys for watching this video and keeping up with the shenanigans, I guess. Below this video, I want to know what you guys think about this whole thing, though. Like, if you guys could just shoot it down in a comment, like, yo, listen, this is nuts, or maybe I did something that I wasn't supposed to be doing, or it's your first time on the channel and you're seeing some carnage like this, just let me know. You know what I mean? But appreciate y'all for watching always, and I'll see y'all in the next one.